Hey, welcome to After Work Conversations with Manic and the Jerk. We are Manic Sophistication. I'm the Manic Genius. Got,
And I'm the sophisticated jerk.
there we go. And these are just conversations that we have after work. Had a long work day. Uh, it was solid. What you got on the agenda for us today?
All right, man. I got a pretty good topic for us, man. And I just wanted to pick your brain on this because, of course, man, in the YouTube space, a lot of people are kind of chasing clout. So I wanted to
Oh,
kind of get your take on that. So let me cue this up. All right. From your perspective, what is clout?
um, Clout. Keeping it
I'm
very
about
straightforward. Uh, Clout is essentially your influence, your power that's gained through societal's perception of you. Um, you can have clout from your social media following. You can have clout from your professional work environment. If you need to get something done, it's just like, hey, somebody in the higher ranking positions, they have that clout to, get things done a little bit more expeditiously.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of what you're saying, I think, yeah, clout is also, like influence. So just to add on to that, and like you said, the next question I have for you, because I want to get your take on this, is clout positive or negative?
Oh, I love these type of these type of questions because this is what essays are built out of. I have both positive and negative. I think it's all depending on how you use it, right? I think if used correctly, effectively, cloud is very positive. If you're the one wielding it. However, it's also in my overarching I think it's mostly negative. There's some positives to it, but I'll switch back. I'll say mostly negative. And I say mostly negative because just seeing how cloud is used when you get clout very early, especially with the internet, social media, YouTube. Being like a young person, you get clout very fast, just building up a following. Uh, you might be a skilled expert in something, um, whether it's your personality, people just love you, your comedy, your content, whatever it is that people kind of migrate towards you and kind of follow you. You become that leader, and that clout is built and established. Now it becomes negative when let's say you're a video game kid or person, and you built a massive following in YouTube and Twitch and other platforms, and then you're this expert in this this gaming space, and then you turn around and talk about relationships, and maybe you're not an expert in relationships, but your clout allows you to ascend to a certain level and gain the respect because you have a perceived level of understanding on just life based solely on your clout, when in the reality you're not an expert on your relationships and dating. So I think clout is negative in that sense, to where we give so much validation based on people's clout when there's not the real, results or experiences.
And let me just jump in here real quick before we kind of hash out the positives of clout. But I agree with you. I would say it's mainly negative because, like you kind of mentioned, I seen this a lot where people have that messiah complex, where it's like they might have some expertise in, like, say, IT, but then they start creeping over to, like, psychologists, psychology. Everybody's an expert in that now,
Yeah.
and then the other areas and stuff like that. Because, like you said, they built this, like, following, based on whatever field are that they mastered at that point in time. But they start wanting to be an expert at everything, and it's like, hey, kind of just listen to me on everything now because I got this following, and I hear people mentioning subscriber base and stuff like that, where it's kind of like people are becoming know-it-alls to a certain extent. And yeah, you definitely are right with that, because it's just like at a certain point, if you're truly trying to have growth, you should be trying to find that person that has the, I'll say, credentials in that field that you need at that point. Like you said, if somebody is looking for like relationship answers, then go find somebody that has like great outcomes with relationships. But like you said, everybody's just going to the person with the highest like
Yeah, the
subscriber
highest
base.
clout.
Yeah, that has the clout at that time. Like you said, it could be a comedy. They could do comedy videos, but all of a sudden, hey, they're gonna have you on a couch. They're gonna be like breaking down your life story and stuff like that. It's
Making you
like,
sign up for their mentoring classes to be a coach.
yeah, yeah, their whole mentoring page. They're a coach at that point.
Yeah. Like, oh man, there's some good money to be in this space. I'm now a coach. I built my following based on comedy, and
Yeah. I mean, and like you said, I guess maybe I'm just built different. Where if I don't know something, I'm fine with telling somebody that. Like, I'm not going to walk you down a path if I have no experiences. People always say, "Hey, man, you're always referring somebody to something," and I'm like, because they probably have a better understanding. Like, I have a solid, I say, foundation in a lot of areas, just because my field and work, I have to kind of look into a lot of stuff, but if I know somebody has that expertise and I truly want you to win, I'm gonna push you in that person's direction.
yeah,
So yeah, I think it's sometimes I'm like I be hearing some of these people, and like you said, you can spot them, when they're chasing that cloud or they want to step into other territories. It's like, man, they're leading people off a cliff to a certain extent.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, you hit that
So
on
go
the.
ahead and let's touch on some of the positives though with cloud,
Uh,
if they're already. Let me.
yeah. No. There's definitely some positives with clout, especially when you have the clout. I'm looking at it from that perspective. If I have clout, uh, whatever lane I'm getting into, it helps you easily transition into other lanes. Like for example, the example that you used. I might be a talented basketball player. Matter of fact, I might be so talented I made it to the NBA.
You're all
Maybe I
right.
wasn't. No, I'm not talking about me specifically.
Just had to throw that shot.
But let's say I made it to the NBA and played, a couple seasons, started, had some good seasons, but not a superstar or anything like that. But because I built that, I have a certain level of respect in the basketball community. So I could easily, get a job as a sports announcer definitely in my local, hometown, or get a nice gig in ESPN, or things that taking the traditional path to get there, it would just be so much harder. But when you have that level of experience, actually, that's not a good example because that cloud is actually earned. Scratch that. I'm just going to delete that section. Uh, clout, clout in a positive way. If used correctly, um, I think it can help you. Definitely jump into other lanes. You know, here's another basketball example. Uh, Aisha Curry, you know, known as Stephen Curry's wife. She used that clout that she gained from that position to transition into like her cooking line, and she has uh, a business in and of itself in like the cooking realm, and amazing pots. I bought some of them myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're
Are they
sturdy.
scratch resistant and all that?
Yeah, they're
Okay,
sturdy,
okay.
scratch resistant. They heat up. The handle don't get too hot. Like high quality stuff. So I mean, I honestly wouldn't have bought them. If I didn't see that name Curry on there. And even though it's Aisha, it's like I trust the skill and hard work that Steph Curry has put out there. And
Real
I can
quick,
only
what you cook on that? Grilled cheese?
you can cook anything on that. Let your imagination run wild. Those pots are sturdy. Not so shameless plug. If you're out there, donate some money to my Cash App. I am the Manic.
Yeah.
It's Cash App the Manic Genius. I will put on the Aisha Curry T-shirt. Sell her pots. Yeah, so that's an example of how clout can be positively used to, get into a completely different lane. Not to say that she's not a talented chef in her own right. I honestly don't know, but I'm sure it didn't hurt, having, the name Curry behind something. It's just a brand that we all know and trust, with Curry and his reputation, on and off the court.
Nah, I think that is a good example because, like you said, that name recognition, that's big in branding. So it's just like when you do get clout, it could transfer over into other areas and stuff like that. If you're not trying to, like I said, become that like false
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
prophet type person, where you're like going into a lane like you have nothing, no knowledge about, and trying to use that name to like take over that space and stuff like that. Because like I like what you said, and a lot of times with clout, it's just like when you go through that path and you learn it the organic way, you do build like I'll say the technical, the mental stuff that comes along with clout that's going to keep you grounded, the characteristics.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, like you said, when people do get stuff too fast, and it's not to say, hey, definitely go out there and try to achieve, but it's just like when you get it so fast, that's when I think, like you were kind of mentioning, starts becoming negative because you didn't build all the mental capacity with it. You didn't build the characteristics to go along with it. So that's when I think people start stepping into that troubled waters and stuff like that because of that lack of knowledge that they didn't receive throughout the process. So,
Yeah.
nah, I definitely liked what you were saying. So, hey, let me go ahead and transition to this last topic, and it kind of piggybacks both on them questions I was asking you. So, what should people do instead of chasing clout?
Ooh. Oh, that's an easy one. Instead of chasing clout, you should live in the real life. Like, no, in all seriousness, clout is just one component to being a, balanced male and or shit. Clout is just one component to being a balanced individual. It falls under the category of like social status and how society perceives you, and it's not all of how society perceives you. It's just it's it's like a sub factor. Um, so instead of chasing clout, you could be chasing, greatness. You know, whether it's something in your physical, like going to the gym, you could be trying to, build your physique. Eating healthier, having a diet, um, you know, developing some discipline, working on your professional career. You could be doing that instead of chasing clout. Um, and Yeah, because the life is really about how you manage everything, and clout is just one component, like I said, in the social status, um, category. But yeah, there's so many other things you could chase. Shit, you could chase women instead of chasing clout.
No, but just piggybacking off of you, I definitely wouldn't recommend anybody chasing clout. I would say chase knowledge, chase wisdom,
Yes.
and like you said, chase success. Because I don't think a lot of times when I see people, especially like in the YouTube world and stuff like that, they're just chasing a clout. And it's
Yeah.
like when you're chasing clout, you're just chasing like the negativity. And when
Facts.
you chase like knowledge and all these other stuff, it's like you not might not have as much status and all that as you might get through there. But for example, like you climb up the corporate ladder at your job and you move up to you got clout in a sense, but it's like a positive type of clout and can't nobody take away your outcome. So, that's why I would recommend people go down that path and stuff like that. And then when you have knowledge, I mean, even if you're hopping on like the YouTube or any other platform and you're giving out, like you were saying, when we're episode 1, we're talking about giving people advice. And even on this one, you actually have that background and stuff. You're a solid source for information at that point. So yeah, I definitely think people need to take that type of strategy instead of just chasing clout out front. It's like, hey, put in that work, you know, make sure you get them results and stuff like that. Because when you get that, anybody starts doing them background checks like they do on YouTube, you're pretty solid. Nobody could sit there and take those outcomes from you. They could talk all the shit they want to, but you a successful individual, hey, you're that person in, like you said, real life. You're not a YouTube character and stuff like that. So
No, I love what you said about the negative clout, because a lot of times we look at, you know there's a certain level of you know it's like a guilty pleasure when it comes to negativity. It's like we don't want it to be in our lives, but we openly invite it in our lives every time we sign up to see some negative shit. Uh, So it's like,
Definitely guilty of that.
yeah, me too. Like that's that. I'm speaking from existence or from example. But when you chase that negative clout, and let's say you go at it with somebody, um, let's say you do win, and you get a boost of clout. That's cool and all. But the problem with negative clout, it still might boost you up a little higher than positive clout. But the difference between negative and positive clout, like if you get it the positive way, is that uh, I'm going to give two examples. When you get it the positive way, like you build your clout, like doing like just being great and challenging yourself and on really your own merits, then when you fall or you have a misstep or something happens, let's say you get in trouble or whatever it is, to where you have a fall from grace, you know, people are going to have, that level of understanding of like, oh, well, he's a good overall positive person. I can't really see him doing that, kind of like the Andrew Tate situation. I don't want to get too into that because, it's still pending. But there's a lot of effort and energy that he put into that space that built up like a following and like a level of clout. And it was mostly positive because it was about male improvement and like being the best version of yourself. And so when he had that fall from grace with those charges, people gathered around him. Oh, he would never do that. He's top G. He gets, all these
Yeah, he
women.
definitely had a lot of support on that. So you're right on
Yeah.
that. I was
And
thinking
so,
about it.
yeah. So it's like, that's the positive clout. But when you have negative clout, and it's just like, let's say there's somebody who has more clout than you and you destroy them. And you're like, yeah, I destroyed them. And everybody's like, yeah, you did. You did. You destroyed all their points. You have, a temporary high where you're like, yeah, you're here. But the minute you make one little mistake, people are going to come at your neck. You're going to lose friendships. You're going to lose alliances because people were just waiting for you to slip up. Maybe you were a little too cocky. Maybe you had your ego too much in everything that you were saying, and people just didn't like that. Maybe you were too judgmental. So when you fall, everybody's going to.
Oh, they swarming like vultures, huh?
Oh yeah, they're gonna kick you down. They're gonna destroy your name. They're gonna disassociate with you. They're gonna they're gonna do all types of.
Do that pearly shot.
Yeah, and I'll take that out.
No. But you said something real quick that I wanted to hone in on, where you were like, it's a temporary high. It's kind of like a drug. Then that's what it came to mind when you mentioned that.
Yeah,
So you saying like clout is addiction to a certain degree?
yeah. Especially, yeah, clout definitely is an addiction. But negative clout is far worse than positive clout. Like if you get it genuinely through like positive activities and build yourself up and encourage people, then when things go when shit hits the fan, it won't be so bad. But when you
No,
do
that's
it
a good point.
when you do it negatively, calling people out, making people look bad, bullying people or you know essentially just shitting on people, then when shit hits the fan for you, everybody's gonna be there like waiting
Yeah, they
for you.
swarming.
Yeah, yeah, like vultures are just trying to kick you down. Like, oh, you think you're gonna get up? No, this is my turn to like stomp you down. And it'll be people that you didn't even think. It's gonna be people that you thought were on your side. It's gonna be people that you might have thought were your friends.
Said get it like my man Julius Caesar, man. Got them knives to the back.
E2 Brutus, E2.
All right, but here's the true segment. Let me ask you this: have you ever chased clout?
Ah, the
Negative
Manic
clout.
Genius.
Let's go a little deeper. Negative
Oh,
clout.
negative clout. Hell yeah. I'll be beefing with people. I have
Yeah, you be going in.
Yeah, yeah. I have no.
So what was the impact of chasing that negative clout? What'd you say? And we
You
ain't
know
got to
what?
get too specific, but
Yeah, no. You know what? I didn't even realize I was doing it at the time. I just thought I was combating like some ignorance, like you know, some people in these spaces just you just speak from like lack of experience and like such a weak mindset. It was just like it was infuriating to me. It's like that a grown man can sit up here and just constantly complain about women and bash women. It's just like, yo, what is wrong with you? Like, pick your balls up. Like, did you not have somebody that a big brother, a father, like what was missing in your life that nobody like punched you in your fucking chest and said, damn, I did that.
man up.
Yeah, man, the fuck up. Like who did not do that for you? Like I'll be him. I'll be the guy that'll punch you in your chest and like I'll literally do that shit.
So you said it's like a modified Big Brother program
Yeah, that's what I thought I was doing.
for grown men and shit.
Yeah, for grown men older than myself, or whoever. But yeah, I realized later that there was like maybe why I came at this dude, or why things never mixed up the right way is it was like some clout going on there. And I'm not too big to say that I might have been wrong. I mean, I should have let the brother live and like get his points off and be like, okay, I disagree, I should have kept it. I should have withheld my masculine energy instead of
That you was emotional a little bit.
yeah, I was emotional. I was resting in femininity, man. I was resting
Nah, but that's big that you could recognize that, because me too. When I was younger, man, hitting the Av, y'all got reading between the lines. Definitely was chasing the wrong clout, man. And a lot of people don't have great outcomes, doing that stuff and street stuff. So that definitely, I would say that was probably like my lowest point. Just always on the lookout. A lot of friends got, like locked up in bad situations behind that type of stuff. So yeah, it's just like you said, man. Definitely a lot of, I say, negative effects that come from chasing clout. And then, like you said, I mean, if you don't treat people a certain way and give people that grace and respect, man, when you slip up, I've just seen it a couple of times, just recently, and it's just sad, man, because those some people don't have no time, no life. They got nothing but time on their hands and stuff, because they're just fixated on negativity. And then, like you said, you do that one slip up, them people they're on you. So it's like when you do operate and you're not chasing clout, you're kind of in that positive, like I'll say, lane. You're gonna always have them supporters and people gonna back you up. And they're, like you said, I like one point where you said, like, hey, people gonna be like, nah, that's not like their character. They're gonna challenge what them individuals are saying. So you definitely want to be in that capacity. But nah, this is a great topic, man.
Yeah.
Like how you introduced it in the last show. So like we said, we just wanted to kind of jump on this because we did tell y'all we wanted to break this down a little bit more. But any closing words, Manic?
Hit my Cash App.
Curry's hit the Cash App.
Yeah, Curry.
Yeah, you done introduced the whole cooking line for them and stuff, man. Hopefully they hit you up, return a favor and stuff. Drop you a couple of bucks.
Drop me some money, man. Stop playing.
Yeah, my closing words is this: don't chase clout, chase knowledge, wisdom. Stay away from negativity, man. But with that said, we'll go ahead and close this one out. Yeah, y'all see us again. Talking some mess. Well, mainly Manic.